Greetings sailors and welcome to a bit of live gameplay with the new Tier 10 Royal Navy light cruiser, the Minotaur. And this is not really going to be so much about the ship as it is me talking about how I honestly can't give you an impression of these vessels because we've had absolutely no time at all, and that's a training room. Did not want that. Where are we? Random battle, there we go. So yeah, I was in a training room because I was trying to figure out where to shoot enemy ships with these things because they only have AP shells. This is probably the biggest difference between us getting them initially for testing in patch 5.10 in fact, and then them taking them away for further tweaking. And so while we had a bit of time with them in their earlier state, as they are now, they're about to go live, we've basically had barely any time at all. And so I can't really do my usual thing where I sit down and plug all the stats in and then I play a bunch of games and try and get a feel and try and get some good footage. That's basically impossible in 2 days. I would need to be several people and to not sleep. But I am, I need sleep and I am not several people, so yeah, instead I'm just going to half-ass it because Wargaming seems to have just a bit half-assed it. And I don't know why. That's the frustrating thing. I don't know why this has just been dumped on our lap with absolutely no warning, because we really didn't get a lot of lead time with the Belfast either. But I've got now enough to do a Belfast video. It's just a process of sitting down, putting my thoughts in order and actually, doing the bit where I talk. That bit. It's quite an important bit to making videos. So I've got all the requisite bits for making a Belfast video, and I have more of a complete impression of the Belfast because we had a little bit more time to play it. But there's a difference between having 2 or 3 days with one ship and with 10 ships, literally an entire line of ships. So I honestly, I don't know how to play this thing. I think I've played 2 or 3 games in it in its new state. The AP shells, they're either great or terrible. If anything is angled at all, it looks like you just need to go for superstructure shots. The penetration, however, it seems all right, but from what we've been told by Wargaming, what they do have compared to other navies is superior normalization and a better Krupp value. So they will pen things at better angles than they otherwise than shells of the same caliber would from other ships. That's what I'm vaguely flailing at. Yeah, I'm still not quite there yet in terms of my usual putting words in order thought process, although arguably I'm never that good at that. But yeah, my sleep schedule's still completely messed up, unfortunately. I am starting to feel better. I might still cough a bit during the course of this video, but it's getting my sleep schedule now back to normal after it having been completely out of whack. So that might take a couple more days or weeks. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I've got just over 10 kilometers. I don't have a concealment expert captain, but I do have the concealment system, so it's just over 10 kilometers detection range. As you can see, the turret turn time is really fast. The Minotaur is a bit of an exception compared to the rest of the line. The rest of them have slower turning turrets than this, so if you're thinking they're all like this, they're not. The rate of fire is also very, very fast, and they've got 10 kilometers of torpedoes. And one of the things they did actually change, I think there's nobody nearby where I'm going to accidentally torpedo them, so there used to be a delay, but you can just like go click, 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 and you can put the torpedoes out as fast as you can click, essentially, which is a lot more useful than it was with the previous implementation where you were having to wait for the UI to catch up. So that's a big improvement right there. That actually makes that ability to single fire torpedoes really quite handy, a lot more handy than it was before, because you can get out very quick, tight spreads, potentially. So that's a nice feature. So I could just smoke up here, but there's clearly somebody firing wide spreads. So I'm going to hold off on using the smoke for now, because the thing with being at tier 10 is, and well, being at any tier, but tier 10 especially, lots of long-range torps around, so smoke clouds tend to be big torpedo magnets. And so it's risky. It's very, very risky if you're just going to stick down smoke like that. So there's the Shima, who's always firing HE at me. It's not so bad. I do have repair ability. That's one of the other things the cruisers are going to have. The preview cruisers don't seem to have. Tier 9 and 10 have got the usual cruiser repair, which tier 9 and 10 cruisers do anyway. But the plan is that, I think from, is it tier 5 or tier 6 and up, will have, oh god, no, I can't actually wiggle enough. Ouch. Yeah, that hurt. I should probably use my hydro. Yeah, they will have a weak repair ability, which is, I think, one of the suggestions I made, but, you know, I won't have been the only one that made that suggestion. I'm not going to say it like, oh, yeah, I said that, and then they did it, because I obviously wield so much power and influence with wargaming. Yeah. No, I suspect that suggestion will have come from multiple people. But the preview ships don't appear to have that, so I don't know how good that is. I just know it's, in theory, planned. And it's not, unfortunately, the kind of thing. My NA client is up to date. My NA client now has the new patch where these are live. But you cannot check consumables unless you actually own the ship. And I would have to spend quite a lot of money converting XP. In fact, I'd have to spend a lot of time grinding out the XP on other ships on my NA account, because I don't have anything like enough XP. My NA account isn't... I haven't been playing it long enough, so it's not like there's lots and lots of XP stored up that I can just then simply convert. I think there's probably enough if I was feeling flash enough that I could do it on my EU account, though. But yeah, that's one of those little things that'd be really handy to actually be able to just see what consumables a ship can mount without actually owning the ship. So this guy's towards the edge of my range. The base range is only something like 16.7 kilometers, but I've put on the range extending module because I think that's pretty much the most useful one. You can have, there's another one that increases your, or makes your turret turn slightly longer for 16% increased rate of fire, but it shaves off like half a second. It's really not worth it because your rate of fire is already so very good. So yeah, I think the Shima's down. There's a bunch of stuff. You know, I'm going to kill speed here and start laying smoke. I've probably not waited long enough. No, see, you only lay, I think at maximum speed you can lay 2 blobs of smoke, but you can only really lay 1 blob if you're going slow enough to actually slow down inside the blob, so the smoke is not that useful. The ships also don't slow down very quickly. The Belfast has that characteristic as well, that they accelerate well, but they take a long time to slow down, and when you're trying to lay down smoke, it's kind of like the Kutuzov. You have to slow down a lot, and if you're in the middle of being under fire, that's a little bit risky. Just a little bit. Oh dear. Anyway, so it's about a minute and a half, not a minute and a half, it's only like 2 minutes on this smoke, isn't it? 160 seconds. So it's 2 minutes and a half, in fact. Which is alright, you know, the duration of the smoke is alright, but it's not... These are not big smoke blobs. There's really nothing else I'm firing at right now, is there? He's just completely slowed to a halt, so he's going to move out there, maybe. I'm actually about to back out my own smoke. Completely meant to do that. Right, there's nothing else within range right now, so we might as well abandon this smoke blob and get moving and I don't know, just see how well this thing does when it dodges and dives. I've only played a couple of battles in this. I think this might literally be my 3rd battle. But so far, unless I'm really close, I'm struggling to get a lot of damage with these AP shells. And if you are really close, this is a fragile cruiser. This is not a tough machine. So it tends to be incredibly risky, because then you just get penned 6 ways till Wednesday and you lose a lot of health very quickly. And it dodges all right, but I don't know. One of the things I think that still could be nicer from what I have played is that they could dodge better. I think that is the key to staying alive in these things. The smoke is going to be useful sometimes, but the thing that's going to keep you alive more often than not is that ability to dodge out the way. So for this kind of target, bow on Bismarck, not Bismarck, Iowa, or just a battleship generally, you really do have to just try and AP the superstructure, and you're only going to get a couple of thousand every go. If you're close enough to get flatter trajectories against the bow and stern armour, or even, I think, if you pick the right places on the belt armour, you can do some damage, but it's being close enough, and that is risky. This is already riskily close, and multiple things shooting at me, including a Yamato. Hello. It's not a comfortable place to be. Let's get a bit of healing there, shall we? Oh, yeah, I think I got Citadel by somebody. Right, so if we can... Now, I mean, we're getting some pens here, but I think you need to be, like, well within, like, 5-6 kilometers in order to get those penetrations. Otherwise, it becomes plunging fire at that stage, and it's not really quite so useful. Uh-oh, that's torpedoes. And a Kagero. This might be RIP. I'm not sure I can dodge these torpedoes well enough. Maybe. Might, God, be able to... wriggle! Wriggle! Whew. That's completely calculated. Alright, if we can take out the Kagero, that would be useful. It's a disadvantage, particularly against destroyers, is you're only ever going to get overpens for a couple of 100 damage each. So you can't nail them in quite the same way that you would with other cruisers. I'm also, I should maybe point out, not somebody who is in possession of a tier 10 cruiser regularly, so this is all a bit slightly scary. My only tier 10 ship is still the Yamato. That has rather a different playstyle. One thing I will note, actually, and this happened on stream the other day, is that the new economy changes. For the Yamato in particular, I had a game where I tanked, what was it, like 3 million damage? It was a game where we lost and I sunk, so I had the full repair cost, but between the spawning and the amount of damage that I tanked, I still made 100,000 credits. That might be the first time I've ever made a profit on a Yamato game that I've lost. So, yeah, I think it probably was more from that tanked damage than anything else, and it was quite novel. Also, I'm not quite sure how that Yamato's not... Oh, there he is. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he disappeared like that. The Yamato is not a particularly stealthy ship. So we can't get that. Zao. You do have to give quite a lot of lead. These are not super fast shells, and although, I mean, in theory you could use something else than the module that gives you better gun range, but yeah, even though at those extra couple of kilometers it gives you, ships are a lot more likely to just simply dodge out of the way. I think it's still worth having. But what do I know? I don't have any tier 10 cruisers. Maybe I should be stealthing up and trying to get a bit closer. Although I can't get that much closer. I am almost within detection range of that Zao there. Are they moving? They might actually be moving forward into the cap circle. We could just try... Pew 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 pew! All of the torpedoes! They're just creeping forwards, maybe. I'm not sure if they're actually just gonna... No, they're not actually going to try that. They're just staying put behind an island. Let's see if we can't maybe shoot behind where they're going to come out. I don't like the Royal Navy voices, I should say. The new RN voices are... yeah, they could be better. So there we go. Unless, again, you have to be close if you want to get the flatter trajectory and to get those citadel shots. So unless you're super close, you're not going to do lots of damage against cruisers. Anyway, we've got the cap point advantage, but they are ahead on points because they're ahead on kills. We have killed their destroyers, though. Oh, hello, that's a Zao over there. I mean, if they really wanted to take B, we might be slightly hard-pressed to defend it at this point. Right, that is not nearly enough lead even for a slow-ass Yamato. Well, I'll say slow, actually. The Yamato's not that slow. It's definitely not the slowest battleship in the game. This might actually be a time to use smoke. So if I wait till... oh, there goes our curve first. I'll wait till I'm about... okay, let's try now. I don't have to worry about torpedoes. Of course, you can still just fire into the smoke and it might be very ouchy, but we'll see. It does, however, mean that this guy has to guess. So I'm trying to more go for the bow armor, but I don't know if I'm doing it very successfully. Of course, at this range, and it's not like 12 kilometers is a super long range, but at this range they're more plunging deck hits. Oh, too much lead. Try to back up so I can get my entire armament on this guy. So you put out the shots really quickly, but you are just pecking away for a little bit of damage every time. And honestly, it's not... well, this is so far one of the better damage games I've had. I've had other games where it's been as many hits for like 25k damage. It is super variable as an experience firing these AP shells. It has not been consistent at all, which is not ideal. It's not ideal. I have to take on this Zao. I mean, he's making a play. And he is not backed up by anybody at the moment. So that's kind of useful if we can take him out. I kind of feel like with... oh, it's a terrible last salvo. But you know what? With this ship, doesn't matter. Oh god. Are you going forwards again? I think you might be. Yeah, you just have to rely on weight of shot. It's not the citadels or anything that are going to do a lot of damage, except at very close ranges. Oh, hello. Oh, that's fine. They're going to run out of range. Right, so the cap circle's close. We lost a battleship in the process, but we're now ahead on points. And we do still have a shimmer left alive, so I kind of... I feel like I should very much try and stay alive myself. So yeah, my impressions overall so far are that I have no idea. I honestly don't. They seem like okay ships, I guess, but not everyone's going to like this AP-only playstyle. They're fragile. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm spotted. Ah! That's going to be the Zao. Uh-oh. Right. Fortunately, that's fine. Let's get that going. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to hang around in this. I'm going to back up and do a 3-point turn. And exit out of the smoke screen in a fashion so that it blocks their line of sight to me. And hopefully I will be able to do that soon. This thing, the fact that it doesn't slow down very well is definitely a hindrance when you're trying to use those. And there's the torpedoes. When you're trying to use the smoke. Come on! Come on! Go forwards! Go forwards! Come on! Accelerate! Oh, never mind. Yeah, I could have come out sideways and it would have gone badly, but instead I tried that and it still went badly, so yeah. I feel like that is a massive hindrance when trying to use the smoke circles, the smoke that you've laid down. That you cannot stop and start very quickly at all, and it just kind of makes life rather difficult. And they as a line, some of them they turn okay. They've got fairly tight turn radiuses, but others don't so much. I mean, they're not like Soviet bad, but considering their fragility, I don't know. It's the battleships I'm waiting for with the Royal Navy, to be quite honest. These cruisers, I honestly don't care about them that much at all. I just want RM battleships, goddammit. I mean, it's nice to have some Royal Navy ships finally, but they've picked the line that I think literally nobody would get excited about. And maybe it's just easier to implement the cruisers first, or perhaps they're hanging on to the battleships for something like, for instance, next year's Gamescom. We're going to lose, aren't we? Oh well, it was a close game. Yeah, we're actually just going to lose on either this guy dying or points with the time. 2 points behind. Oh, we died. Never mind. Well, that was close. But yeah, it might be they're saving them for something like next year's Gamescom, and that's why they haven't put them out as the first line. But my impression of the lines is, nah, I don't care that much. And maybe people weren't expecting that because they're Royal Navy, but I don't know, maybe I've enjoyed them more if I'd had more time to get to know them better instead of literally 2 days for an entire new line of ships. So I don't know what to say, really. It's kind of on Wargaming, this one. I don't know what's been going on recently. We had this with the Belfast. We had very little time for that, although it was enough time with one ship to get the material I needed. With the Stridsvagen, they are over in World of Tanks. I think I've mentioned this in a previous video as well. They basically said you can have it to play test, but only on the test server, which is completely useless to me. So I basically declined to even to play test that, because what's the point of doing it on the test server? You don't learn anything on the test server except that it's full of team killers and people that just fire nothing but APCR and premium shells because they can. And because it's a tier 6 tank, everybody goes and plays the tier 10 tanks on the test server. So the matchmaking is always completely screwed up as well. So what was the point? So yeah, I don't know. Wargaming recently seems to have been fumbling it a bit with these previews. And it's nice that we get the ships to preview, because we can show them off and, you know, we can say, here's this new stuff, and Wargaming gets the publicity, and we get new stuff for our channels, and everybody wins. Except, I don't know why they've been dropping the ball recently, and it's not maybe making Wargaming look quite so good. So anyway, there we are. There's the Minotaur, and that was a very close game, and I kind of screwed up a bit, but I think there's going to be a fine art to using the smoke on these British cruisers, and it's going to take more than like 3 battles to learn how to do it. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this video anyway, even though it was maybe well, not quite what would you call that, halfway between a ramble and a rant. I don't know, one of those. Anyway, that should be a word for that, but there isn't. But yeah, anyway, if you have, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.